All right. Well, I'm super excited. Welcome to VladTV. We have Jeff Bhasker in the building.
Hey.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, great.
I
Nice
love
to be
it.
here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You know, I personally love interviewing producers because you guys have such an integral part to these hit songs, hit moments. You have 5 Grammys. You work with Kanye on all his big albums. How does it feel to just, be here?
I mean, it feels great. I mean, particularly like with kind of Donda being nominated at the Grammys right now and just that kind of like sinking in. I feel like I just went to the Sunday service like during the Thanksgiving and just like the energy right now with Donda, it's like I've been listening to that album a lot and like absorbing it. So I just thinking of Kanye. I mean, there's so many great albums out there now, but in that kind of cycle, like that album kind of coming around and I don't know how it feels to everyone else, but it's resonating right now with so many people. I think that it's kind of that Kobe Bryant Black Mamba video where he's like, but are you a different animal and the same beast? And Kanye's like, what the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant? But it's like, he is like a different animal and the same beast on that album. It's that old Kanye and the new Kanye and everything, his circle that he has going on from the Sunday service, like coming to completion. So all that energy is feeling good. I think everything's like real positive right now,
Definitely. And continue. What was your involvement with Donda?
I did, I helped compose and produce Come to Life.
Oh, okay.
Which was like the fastest Kanye track I was ever a part of compared to like all the other ones, like grinding for like years, basically. Like came in, we like jammed with Warren Campbell and the guys from OG Volta and Kanye was just like freestyling and I was like, okay, that was cool. I guess like checked in, and then a couple of months later they were like, oh, we need the credits for that Come to Life. I was like, oh, that actually turned into something. And I guess they kind of took the jam and turned it into an actual record, which was amazing. But I had this, I had this like riff that I had been kind of swimming around in my head for a while. So I kind of had that, I asked Kanye, like, he played me the album and I was like, wow, it sounds incredible. Like this is so formed and so many big moments and the production's amazing. Like, what are you missing? And he's like, I'm kind of missing that like 80s jam, and like kind of what we did on 808s was a lot of that kind of 80s influence. Or when I got involved, like just post-graduation, that was a big influence. So kind of busted that out and, a jam kind of evolved around that, which was like so beautiful. Like, I mean, Warren Campbell, I'm such a fan of his and everything kind of like came together. So it was amazing that actually turned into an amazing record. I think the way it came out and then the way it was presented in the listening session at Soldier Field with when he's on fire. And I mean, just like, it's just so amazing to me. Like, I mean, everything. And Kanye is my creative mentor, and like I learned most of what I know about artistry from like, being in his presence and working with him and having him believe in me and kind of lift. I think he kind of does that for everyone, is like lift them up and shine the light on the special thing. He curates what's special about everyone he comes into contact and, everything he does. So yeah, it was really, really special to be a part of that one.
Definitely. Can you just describe that moment in the listening session? He had everyone in the building. Obviously, you've been going to the Sunday services, but just what is it like just seeing the music come to life and the live aspect of it? I think is so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Like, I was his music director for a number of years. Like, that's how I started working with him, first playing keyboards, like, as really like a substitute keyboard player. That's how I got the call.
What?
Like Yeah, A-Trak
Oh,
called me
what?
and was like, we need a substitute keyboard player. Like, are you down? And I had just done my first cut with, I just moved to LA, got my first cut on Game's first album, the documentary. I did the title track on that.
Right.
And then
Oh, wow.
was like super ready to pop off and like didn't really exactly explode. So I kind of went back to playing keyboards. This is the long version.
No, I love it. We're here for it.
Yeah. Did the gig. I think Jimmy Kimmel was like my first gig. It was like right when Graduation dropped, and then did like a number of gigs with him, like 6, 7 gigs. Did Saturday Night Live, and that's when Kanye and I kind of developed this like, I was kind of fixing some of the string arrangements. Where it's like when the band was like A-Trak and the all female orchestra and a keyboard player. Like some of the arrangements didn't quite sound right. I was kind of like, do you mind if I fix this? And, I was getting my sounds together and we really kind of hit it off as like, A-Trak was telling me, he really needs a person like you. There's no one to kind of cover the musical director side of it. So I kind of jumped in there and I've always been a fan, but we kind of just vibed. And then aesthetically, even like my good friend of mine at the time was like, kind of popping off in the contemporary art world. So that part of it too, like, I mean, Kanye to me is like, he's as much or more like a straight up like fine contemporary artist as he is a rapper or producer or musician. That's kind of his aesthetic and he's just painting with music. And I think he kind of sensed that I got that part of it. I also like come from a jazz and gospel like Black music background.
Right.
So I got that part of it. And so at the end of the run, he was like, I think we'd like to keep you on,
right.
And then that led to kind of becoming the music director. And like, so, to get back to your question about like, what's it like seeing all the music and everything, like it's one of my favorite parts of working with Kanye is like, we always get to work with like the best people in lighting, best people in stage design, and then he also kind of went through a phase of where when I was working and where we kind of abandoned the gospel soulful sound for a more futuristic synth driven, pop driven, harmonically at least. Like it was kind of a rule to not overly delve into a soulful gospel realm that might rely more on riffing or ad-libbing, but really hone in on designing melodies that were specific and detailed rather than the beauty of Stevie Wonder's voice. He could just sing the phone book and it's just like incredible, but to home in on like exactly what we're designing.
Right.
So to see it kind of come full circle and like the first Sunday service when it literally was a circle and it was a gospel group and a choir and the choir reinterpreting his music and his voice being silent within that rather than the rants. He didn't even speak or rap he played the ASR. And now he doesn't even speak, but he's designing, I'm assuming he's designing or has a say in the way the performance is designed and presented. But
right.
I think it's just amazing. And to hear that choir and to see kind of like the musical infrastructure he's built, that just to have that at his disposal. Like, I don't know how many people are in the choir. If it's like an 80-person choir or something, it's just amazing. And the school and just like all his idea, Donda itself kind of, as a company, Virgil Abloh, like rest in peace, like seeing that go from them designing t-shirts in the back of the studio. And I'm like, yo, we need to cut this vocal. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, and they're like kind of laughing. And I'm like, what's going on? And then being in Europe during Virgil's first show and just being like mind blown that like, wow, you just revolutionized like fashion, like culture, like just so inspiring to be around those guys and see everything come to fruition, you know, and it's like the seeds that you plant,
Right.
they grow,
Right.
you know, so
For sure.
seeing all those seeds kind of really coming to life,
Right.
you know.